This man is holding a bizarre letter from 50 years ago. He was surprised to discover that the horrifying 911 events had been predicted in it. What? How could it be? 50 years ago, Lucinda was frantically writing a pile of numbers. The teacher came to stop her, but the girl refused. The teacher was helpless, so she had to confiscate Lucinda's paper. Today is the school's founding anniversary. The school wants the students to draw their thoughts about the future, then bury them in the ground, and exactly 50 years later they will take it up. 50 years passed quickly. That box was opened again. Letters are given out to each student. Caleb also received a letter, but his letter was very special, containing only a pile of bullshit numbers. What Caleb got was what Lucinda left behind. When he raised his head, the boy saw a person in black staring at him, but within a blink, that person had disappeared. That letter attracted the interest of his father, John, a professor of astrophysics at MIT. He is extremely sensitive to numbers, so he does an investigation. The results made John extremely amazed. Because the first numbers on the paper are the time of the 911 terrorist attacks on the US and the number of casualties. To clarify everything, he wrote the remaining numbers for research. He found that groups of digits were marked very similarly to the dates corresponding to the times of major incidents in the past 50 years and the number of casualties of those incidents. Professor John, who has always worked rationally at this time, could not believe this is just a coincidence. John told this story to his colleagues, but they do not believe him. John felt very disappointed, but he refused to give up. Because the numbers not only predict events in the past but also predict the future. Tomorrow some accidents will happen and the number of casualties is 81. He took the paper to the home of the old teacher who taught Lucinda to ask for it. So burying the time box was Lucinda's idea. But when the anniversary had just ended, Lucinda had disappeared. When the teacher found her, Lucinda was hiding in a closet in the basement, scratching the locker with her fingernails. Lucinda also passed away many years ago. At this moment, John saw through the window that a stranger was approaching his son and handing him a black stone. He rushed out when the other man drove away. John felt very insecure. He stayed up until morning to watch television to see if any problems coincided with his predictions. But nothing happened. The next day, on the way to pick up Caleb from school, John was stuck in traffic. He unintentionally glanced at GPS and remembered the numbers. It may be the coordinates of the incident location. And today's incident will happen here. John hurried out of the car to go to the scene of the car accident ahead. Police said several people suffered minor injuries. However, as he was speaking, the policeman's expression suddenly changed. Behind John, an out-of-control plane was falling. The plane slid across the ground and exploded not far away. The vehicles below were crushed. The scene was terrifying. Professor John looked blankly at the burning plane. Someone reached out an arm to him, but he could not help. Returning home, he found a television broadcast on the plane crash earlier. The casualty count was 81, just as the paper predicted. If so, then there are 2 more accidents about to happen. In the evening a stranger appeared in Caleb's room. That person considered him as a terrorist suspect. While running away from the police, John sees a suspicious person. John chases after that person, and the police chase John. The police quickly caught both of them, found that the other man was just an ordinary thief. At this moment, a car slid off the rails and plunged into the crowd. The prophecy comes true again. This time, Diana took the initiative to find John. She said that Lucinda had predicted that she would die tomorrow, so she didn't want to mention her mother before. The two decide to work together to find the secret behind the numbers that Lucinda left behind. Prevent everything from happening. Diana takes John to the little house that Lucinda used to live in before she died. John discovered on the wall was full of articles about the accidents, and a manuscript of the Bible. As he was about to leave, John saw that there were strange black stones on the floor. Turning the bed over, John discovered there was information Lucinda had left behind. It turns out that the last 33 at the bottom of the paper is not the number of casualties but the 2 letters E written backward, referring to everyone. Is the end of the world coming? While in deep thought, they heard Caleb's voice outside. It turned out that the men in black had brought Caleb and Diana's daughter, Abby, with them. John saw that and ran away to chase those mysterious people away. John and Diana only knew the event was going to take place tomorrow and did not know the location and the cause, because when Lucinda wrote to this line, the teacher confiscated the paper. The next day, Abby shows John the picture she painted. Through that painting, John realized that the painting at Lucinda's house was referring to the sun. Recently, the news has always been about the giant solar storm. This discovery made John feel desperate and powerless. One person cannot prevent the destruction of the Earth. He advised everyone to return to their families. Diana also regretted it. She knew her mother was always right, but she shared with everyone that she was crazy. John called his father. They haven't met for a long time. He advised his father to hide somewhere to find a way to live. But the father said he obeyed God's summons. Later, Caleb wrote a long series of numbers on paper without stopping. John grabbed the paper, but Caleb still used his fingers to engrave the number on the table again. Seeing the numbers on the table, John suddenly thought of something. John realized that the series of numbers that Lucinda had not finished writing at first was probably in the locker in the basement of the gym. Finally, John found the closet door. He scrapes off the new paint. The last digit also appears. It was a GPS coordinate. When John got out, Diana took the kids away. She was scared, so she took the children to the cave as originally planned. But her daughter tells her mother that wherever she goes, those mysterious people will know. Hearing that, Diana almost collapsed. When she got to a gas station, an alarm started on the television. This solar storm will last much longer than expected. The government informs people to be prepared. A disaster could happen. The apocalypse is coming. The world fell into chaos. People frantically scrambled for their wealth. Besides, John called to prevent Diana from hiding in the cave because it wouldn't do any good. He told Diana the safest place to be was Lucinda's little house. But in Diana's eyes, that place was the source of all bad things. When they were arguing fiercely, the mysterious person appeared again and took the children away. Diana frantically chases after her but unfortunately has an accident. When John arrived, Diana was dead. It turned out that even knowing the prediction, she could not avoid it. John sadly drove to Lucinda's house. He followed the wheel track to deep inside the forest. The man in black appeared. John asked where the children were, but they didn't answer. John was angry, intending to pull the trigger. At this moment, Caleb appeared, holding a rabbit in his hand. It turns out that mysterious people have been protecting Caleb and Abby for a long time. They send information to the two kids just like they did with Lucinda. Those people used stones to guide them. John asked who they were after all. At this time in the sky appeared a spaceship. The mysterious people want to take Caleb and Abby away. They were chosen to be the life of a new world. But John couldn't come with him because he was not among the chosen ones. John gave Caleb a necklace and said goodbye to the boy. Just like that, the UFO gradually flew into the atmosphere. At the same time, countless other UFOs were flying around. When he got home, John embraced his father. His father said this is not the end. They hugged each other, and Earth eventually faced its end.